and welcome to kind of an unusual video for the channel. I've been kind of absent for, it's been, I think, since Game of the Year stuff, and then I did a Dead Space review at the end of January, beginning of February. I kind of crushed that out really fast, and then I haven't made any videos in a little while. I've been a little active on the Twitter account, but that's kind of been it, and I want to explain all that today. Explain what's going on, with the channel going forward. Nothing's changing. I'm not canceling the channel or closing or anything like that. But I just want to give more of an update on things that are going on with me personally that I feel like sharing. So I think it's important to be transparent. I've always been transparent with the small audience that I have on my YouTube channel, so I figured it would be a good time to do this. Now, since I have most of the information I need to have about what's going on. So, it's gonna be a really weird and scattered video. Let's go back to beginning of February. So, right around the time I posted the video for Dead Space, I had been suffering from, and you can still hear my voice, and I apologize for it. I had been suffering with this terrible cough. So, probably about middle of January, my girlfriend and I went to a reptile convention, which is just like a trade show for, those type of animals like snakes and I guess sometimes, the creepy crawly stuff, but also like we have a bearded dragon. So that's kind of the main draw to go because it's a good place to get the type of food that bearded dragons eat and that kind of stuff. So, and I have not been to a convention or anything post-pandemic or whatever we're calling the era that we're in right now. So I didn't get COVID, so I don't have that shockingly, but I caught a really nasty cold, almost like flu. It ended up being bronchitis, which I had many times when I was a kid. And well, I got through it relatively fast. Like within a week, I developed this nasty cough, and it just continued and continued. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. And finally one day I woke up and I just told my girlfriend, I just want to go to the urgent care and get this checked out because this is ridiculous. Because what's happening is every time I cough, my left side is just hurting like hell. Like every time I cough, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's nagging at me. And so finally I just broke down and was like, we need to just go to the urgent care and see what's going on. So we get in the car, and this is like an early morning, we go to the urgent care. I get in there, I talk to the doctors, whatever doctors on staff at that time, and they go to take my blood pressure, and they go, hey, your blood pressure is kind of high. And I go, yeah, it's naturally always high when I go to the doctor's office because I'm terrified of having to give blood. That's my worst fear. I've had surgeries and stuff, and that stuff does bother me, but you're knocked out for it. Blood work and needles, I can watch the most horrific movies and play the most horrific video games, but put a needle in me and I'm so squeamish with that. I have fainted many times. I'm terrified of blood work. I've gotten better as an adult, but as a kid I was horrible. So and I explained this, and they're like, yeah, but it's kind of really high. And I'm like, how high? And they tell me, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were staggeringly high. And they go, okay, well, we're going to wait a couple minutes and we're going to test it again. And I'm like, okay. So we kind of sit there, we just chill, me and my girlfriend, and they come back, and the nurse comes back in, she checks it again. Still really high. And she's like, okay, hold on a minute. The doctor comes in, doctor says, hey, look, I can give you stuff to fix the problem with your cough, but it's going to be counteractive to whatever's going on with your blood pressure right now, and so we don't even want to treat that. You just need to go to an ER. And I kind of looked, I'm like, this is an ER situation? And they're like, yes. You need to either go now or we're going to call you an ambulance. And I'm like, well, I don't want an ambulance because that's insane cost. I have insurance. I have very good insurance, but even still, I don't want to pay for an ambulance. We get there, and we're there for a long time. And we get everything, I get checked out, whatever. I explain the situation. They take my blood pressure. It's already come down quite a bit since we got there. It's still elevated, but it's not staggeringly high. And then by the time I actually got into checked into a room or whatever, blood pressure was normal. So you know, that part of it was whatever, but I still wanted to get this whole situation checked out. So, you know, they check everything, they kind of press in the area that it hurts and stuff. I go, I have an x-ray done. Doctor comes back and doctor says like, hey, we don't see anything broken. We're thinking that you might have either, you know, slightly fractured a rib with this cough and we can't see it on an x-ray, or you tore a muscle in that area. Regardless, they give me medication for this, but at this time, he goes, your blood sugar's high. And I go, okay, like, you know, that's happened before. And I'm like, how high? 295. And I'm not, you know, like, I don't follow that stuff, even though on my dad's side of the family, my grandma was diabetic type 2. My dad is a type 2 diabetic. And I've always known this was going to come my way someday. So, and so he's like, I'm going to subscribe you metformin, you know, I want you to, you know, 500 milligrams twice a day, but I want you to go see a primary. I don't have a primary at this time. I don't even want to talk about that in this video because that situation's really, really ridiculous. But I'm like, okay, who do you recommend? They put a recommendation on. I'm like, okay, cool. I call after this appointment. I get checked out. Fine, whatever. I start taking this medication. Side's feeling a lot better. Good to go, right? So I make up my primary doctor's appointment, and I go, I set it for, I think it was like the 17th of February. And I have that all set, right? And this all happened on the 3rd of February. So we get through another week. Fine, whatever. I'm taking this medication, whatever, you know. We get to the week of that appointment, that Tuesday, which this would have been like it was Valentine's Day, now I think about it. And I'm in a work meeting. I work from home. And so I'm in a meeting with my boss. We're talking or whatever. And I have a standing desk. You guys can't really see, but I have my arm kind of up on the standing desk like this. And I'm still coughing, you know. Like that medication, I took it and like it was up and down, but they gave me a really hardcore medication that really messed with my mind. So I just stopped taking it. But after that, like this cough medication was working. And I was like, okay, I'm cool. But for whatever reason this day, the cough was coming back and was nagging me. And so I had my arm up like this. We're just getting done with the meeting. And I go to cough. And I kind of bend down like this a little bit. And I cough. And it's not hard. It's just a normal cough. And I cough. And when I cough, I feel something snap. Like a physical snap inside my body. And I'm like, that doesn't feel good. And I get out of the meeting and I go to put my arm down. And when I put my arm down, it's like some of the most intense pain I've ever had in my life. So bad that I'm standing here like clenching my side and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, you know, and at this point I'm like, I call my girlfriend. She's on her way home from work and she's, you know, I tell her, I'm like, I gotta go to the ER. Like this is ridiculous how bad I feel right now. I'll be home soon. We'll get you in the car. We'll go. And so we end up going back to the same ER. I have everything checked out. By the time I get to the ER and I'm sitting down and stuff, I'm feeling better. They do all the tests again. They once again test me for COVID. I've been tested for COVID twice now. Failed both times. I don't have COVID. I guess passed because I don't have COVID. I don't know what you say. But I don't have COVID. And this time, you know, they check everything. They come back. They say the same thing. They do an X-ray. Go, we don't see anything. But this time we're gonna do a CAT scan. I'm like, okay, you know. So we go. They do the CAT scan. They doctors and everything. They come back and they say, okay, we've done the CAT scan. We still don't see anything. We think you just tore something on that side. It's gonna take time to heal. They subscribed me some more medication, a little bit different this time because I explained like, hey, you know, the other medication was really messing with my mind. Like, I'm talking hallucinatory stuff. And so they're like, okay, they subscribe something else to me, and then they're just like, keep your, you know, primary doctor's appointment. All good. Okay. So, as far as the side thing goes, I agree with the doctors, like, and that's kind of the end of that part of the story. It has gotten a lot better. So anyways, a couple days go by, I take the medication, feeling better. I go to the primary doctor, and it's the same thing. You know, they go through everything. I kind of explain the rib situation. He also agrees, same thing. But then the main focus of the conversation is, you know, your blood sugar was really high. We need to find out if you are pre-diabetic or if you are diabetic at this point. Like, are you in the pre-stages? Because there's two different, as far as my understanding. If I'm being a dumbass on this, you feel free to correct me. But if you're a pre-diabetic, you can reverse that. I've had that. I've been in that slot once before years ago when I had my gall issues, and I was able to reverse it. You know, fine, whatever. I mean, I had lost a dramatic amount of weight at that time, so, and I was able to reverse it. Or you are diabetic and we need to keep you on metformin. We need to keep you on this. So we're gonna have you go do this AC1 test. So A1C test, sorry. So I go and I do that test, and I'll even show you, like, I don't know why, but like needles are even worse for me as I get older. Like this was 17th. This was last week. Yeah, because I did not take that A1C test that day. I did take it a different day, but that's where they injected me or took blood from, and like you can see, it is gnarly as hell. Like, it did not, like, it was so weird because I barely felt it. It's probably one of the best blood draws I've ever had. And I got out and I took the Band-Aid with like the cotton swab or whatever they put on there off, and it just looked like somebody ran my arm over. It's ridiculous, but it is healing. It looks much better today than it did a week ago, but it still looks gnarly. Took that test, got the results. Pre-diabetic, you are at like, and just to try and explain, like 5.7 on this scale is like pre-diabetic, between like 5 whatever and 5.7. Anything higher, you're diabetic. I'm at a 9.2, so I'm pretty fucking diabetic at this point. Like, there's no messing around. And unfortunately, I didn't fast for the test because nobody told me to fast, and I didn't even think to. And so, you know, my girlfriend's like, well, maybe the results are skewed because you didn't fast. I'm like, no, this shows 3 months, not just one day. Like, even if I didn't fast, like, it's probably a point or two difference. So, no, it's pretty fucking clear. So, the end of the story of this whole situation is that I am now officially a type 2 diabetic. And it took me a little bit of time to accept and grasp that. I mean, as I said before, like my grandma on my dad's side was a type 2 diabetic. My dad is a type 2 diabetic. He's been that way for almost 20 years now. He's very, very good. He keeps it under control. You wouldn't even know he's diabetic. I always knew this was going to come my way. I know some people, you know, I've talked to other people like, oh, you know, you even my parents, when I talk to them now, they're like, oh, you still could have avoided it forever. I'm like, no, like, there is some part of it that is genetic. I knew it was going to hit me someday. Unfortunately, it hit me earlier because, and I'll be flat out honest with this, 2 years ago when I kind of started to gain a little bit of weight from where I was in a depressed state, like after I moved into the house that I live now. Not because I moved, not because my girlfriend and I now have a wonderful house that we love very, very much, but because the job I was working at the time was just the fucking worst. And it was soul crushing me every day. So it was hard for me to get through that, and that led to a lot of depression. And that depression led to me making a lot of bad habits. And I kind of fell down this path of, I don't fucking care anymore about that. And I stopped walking every day. I stopped eating correctly. I pretty much stopped everything. Because as I've said many times before on the channel, I mean, you can go back and watch my earlier videos when I was thinner. Like, I was walking at my peak, like 4 to 5 miles a day at times, like in the summer. Like, I was going on like hour-long escapades and having a blast. And then, you know, this depression hit, and I just kind of threw it all out the window. And I shouldn't have. And so I'm really holding myself accountable for that now. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. It's not a gaming video. I'm not talking about that stuff here. It's kind of also for me a video diary, so that hopefully within like a year's time, I can come back, look at this video and go, yeah, that's where I kind of started this stuff. Behind the scenes, I've already started. You know, I have a tremendous girlfriend who has done everything. And again, she's not diabetic, but she's changed all of how we're eating. She's, you know, really got me on the right kind of diet, the right kind of thing, kind of path to go forward with that. For right now, I have to wear, I'm not going to show it, but I have to wear a sensor on my arm. Actually, I probably can show it. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit there. I have to wear a sensor on my arm that just kind of lets me know what my glucose levels are. I can check it with my phone pretty much at any time. It will alert my phone if it's low or if it's high, which is really, really nice technology. That part, you know, I'm glad that technology has advanced this far, because if I had to prick myself every day in the finger, like, I'd probably pass out. But, you know, we've changed that. I've started walking again. I'm already at the point where I'm walking 2 miles on the days that I do walk. Before, I was doing it every single day. Like, I was religious with it. Like, literally every single day. This time I'm not. I'm kind of starting it slower. I'm trying to do 3 to 4 days a week and then build up from it, because again, I need to lose some weight. So, and I need time for my body to also heal a little bit, and I also want to get back to the gym. This was something that my girlfriend and I tried to do when we first moved into this house, and then we just kind of lost track of it. We're still paying for it, so we need to go. But and we're going to. We've already gotten you know, clothes and shoes and stuff, so we're ready to do that. But and we're literally, like, I live in the Midwest, so we're like on the cusp of spring. So I've been very lucky and fortunate. The early part of this week, I've been able to walk outside, but now we're going to be hitting a snowstorm, and then 2 days later it's going to be 50 degrees. All this shit's going to melt. So we're in that shitty part of the year. But yeah, I'm very, very fortunate too where I live. I have a lot of good trails and stuff that I can walk on, which is my favorite thing to do when it comes to that. So I'm in a good place now with it, where I'll be honest, I needed like a week to just adjust and realize and accept. And the one thing that I've said to everybody I've talked about this and this diagnosis and stuff is, the only person that I can blame for this is myself. Because I could have continued to put it off, you know, I could have continued to eat better, you know, walk every day and everything. And I kind of let all that shit go for a while, and I really shouldn't have done that. And I regret that, but I am moving forward with it. So I just wanted to put this video out there and just let people know, like, what the fuck's been going on with the channel, because it's, you know, it's been a little bit since I made a video, almost a month. So with that being said, I want to talk about just a little bit real quick here what's coming up with the channel, just like very, very soon. So obviously I'm still posting the podcast is still extremely successful. Podcast 572 is going to continue. That's not stopping. That's not slowing down. We'll have a new episode. I think I just posted one the 24th of February, and then we will be doing the next one the 10th. We record every other Friday. I try to have it up by Saturday. Really, honestly depends what's going on, but usually I can hit that without any problems. As far as videos go, you got this one. I do promise, hopefully I'm hoping by the end of next week to have a Hogwarts Legacy review up. Also, I'm going to be posting a video very, very soon on just my thoughts on this Suicide Squad game, because what the fuck, like, who's that game for? So after that, we'll see what March brings. Some games have, you know, moved around release dates. The only game I can tell you for sure I will do a review of next after this is Resident Evil 4 Remake, obviously. So I'll be talking about that then. But anyways, I want to end this video because it's at 22 minutes and it's really fucking long. So thank you guys again for your continued support on the channel. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for dealing with my ridiculous voice right now. And remember, as always, to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.